Hey everybody, I have just downloaded the version 1.0.0 from D3 Splint. I'm going to go ahead and double click and we're going to check out the new user preferences. Now this is something that everybody should go through at least once when they get D3 Splint. You're going to click down here and in this box and you're going to look for this little drop down for D3 tool module. Let me see if I can magnify that. Magnify, there we go. So the D3 Splint tool module is right there. We're going to go ahead and drop it down, and you're going to have to check the please certify for not clinical use, and then check also background. That will let it render out all your occlusion while you're working on other things and save you from a very time consuming step otherwise. Now that we're going down, we're going to look and set all our settings. I am still very conservative and picking 2.0 millimeters for my shell thickness. I have a feeling with some of these new flex resins like Keystone, Splint Soft, and Sprint Ray Flex that we'll be able to get away with thinner shell thicknesses. I just haven't had the time or maybe the stomach lining to try it out, so I'll leave that up to you. These settings are what work for me. You are taking these at your own risk and using them, and keep in mind also that each printer and resin combination, each specific printer and resin combination may yield different results. So for instance, a given batch of Sprint Ray Flex plus my specific printer may yield a slightly different optimum offset or undercut than say somebody else's printer down the street. So bear that in mind. There is some trial and error to this. If you go on d3tool.com, there is a reference sheet, a reference guide with the workflow on how to set up 3 trial models to test for your offset first and then gradually test your undercut next. If you don't want to do that, you can start with my settings. I use 0.6 for my compression gap or spacer as it were, and my undercut I usually need 0.12 undercut. That's what we're currently using for my Sprint Ray Pro 95 and Sprint Ray Flex night guard resin. I don't check any of the other presets. If you have a very specific way you do night guards, you may want to change these, but I leave them the heck alone. The other thing we want to do now is log into the auto update server. So I'm going to hit log in. It's going to ask me for my credential. Now that's your username, not your email address. I get that wrong every time. And now I need to copy the password. I'm going to go ahead and put that right here. And then we're going to hit OK. And now that that's in, somewhere in here, usually there's a very faint little indicator that we're logged in correctly, but I'm going to go ahead and hit you can hit auto check for update, and it'll update every 7 days, but I'm going to just hit manually check now because I know for a fact there's a 101 setting, and look, there it is. There's update to 101.01. So we're going to go ahead and click on that and then let it install. The add-on was successfully installed, and we're going to restart Blender to reload. Let's go ahead and do that. Oh, one thing I forgot to do, I have to go to File, User Preferences. Before you leave, I'm going to hit Save User Settings. Actually, didn't need to scroll, but you can hit Save User Settings down here in the bottom there. I'm going to hit Save, and then I'm going to close it, and then I'm going to close this. Do you really want to quit? Yes, we do. And then we're all set. We've updated our D3 Splint software. Next video, I will talk about the workflow.